Welcome back to Enter the Gungeon. Today we're going to do a run with the convict. I'll go ahead and show you her initial loadout. She starts with a budget revolver, which is a 5-shot gun. Very low accuracy. I would call this the worst starting pistol in the game. However, she does also start with a sawed-off shotgun, which does decent damage up close, and as you get farther away, the spread on it causes your damage to fall off a bit. She also starts with a Molotov cocktail, which creates a large circle of fire under the enemy's feet or relevant appendages. And she starts out with an enraging photo that increases her damage whenever she gets hit for a short period of time. Alright, let's hop in. Watch some bullets jump into a swimming pool, seemingly. They make a big splash. Alright. Basic bullet enemies to get started. Hollow point. Nothing much to worry about just yet. We'll switch to my shotgun to show off its damage potential. It's 3 shots to kill one of those guys. That was awkward, but apparently effective. Yeah, it just doesn't seem to carry the same weight that the crossbow does. Even with an extra 50 rounds, whereas the crossbow has 100, the shotgun you can fire 150 times. It just doesn't seem overly impressive or noteworthy. We'll try to use it to defeat the boss, though. Who do we have this time? Double tap trigger twins. Alright, these guys are somewhat difficult only because you're trying to predict 2 different patterns at once. Ah, bad damage early on. That's quite alright. At least we got to the boss unscathed. Ah, that's one of the circles you probably don't want to roll towards, because they can attack immediately afterwards. And if they're shooting straight towards you, they can definitely hit you. Fortunately, they're pretty easy to dodge. I really got wrecked during this fight. I probably should have explored the floor a bit more before coming in here. That's alright, though. Once you defeat one of them, obviously the other, it's a little upset at having lost their brother. Can't say as I blame them for that. That could have gone way better. But I did not fail, so we'll call that good enough. Pick up an armor piece, a whole heart. It'll be almost as if we hadn't totally messed up horribly. This particular gun, the M1911, the ancient design fires simple lead projectiles from a moderately sized clip. In the right hands, this weapon is a force to be reckoned with. I'm not sure how one reckons with a firearm, but I do like it. It's only 2 shots to take out the basic enemies. Fairly ammo efficient if you're accurate with it. And it's much harder to miss with than some of the smaller bullets. Ammo, what do we want to take that for? I really don't like the starting shotgun, so even though I'm only getting a few bullets for it, I'll take it for the M1911 and use the M1911 as my room clearer. Let's see, we have the blunderbuss, the alien sidearm, which I showed you earlier, and a regular shotgun, which is better than the sawed-off shotgun, I believe, but not all that impressive. So we'll just go on for now. I'll check out the blunderbuss if there's literally nothing better to do by the end of the floor. Now I could descend to the second floor, but I do like to at least check the chests where possible. These bullets, if you can, it's really good to dodge them rather than wasting bullets on them. Although starter pistol ammo is infinite, so that might be the best of 3 possible choices. There's a pretty good fire rate on that gun. I tend to be a little more deliberate in firing, where I'll take the time to make sure I line up the shot. That's not always the best option, but it does work decently for me, I suppose. This gun is the Crestfaller. It freezes enemies. This unique weapon was brought to the Gungeon by a disgraced warrior who discarded it when he gave up. The projectiles it fires are extremely low energy, delivering a cold and highly depressing death. Really, really vivid imagery there. Let's go ahead and check it out. Okay. It does slow them considerably. I might use it against the boss, most likely. Slowing down bosses can be very helpful. So I'll use this M1911 as the room clearer, and then I'll switch to the boss. I will go ahead and use my starter pistol to take out these guys. One risk, of course, of rolling over those slimes is if there's several of them, it's easy to get in a situation where you roll over 2 or 3 of them and then the 4th one hits you. Were those selectable? No. I thought I saw a little white outline around those beyond the one that was already there, but just a trick of the light. I don't know what possessed me to fire off that chandelier on myself. Fortunately, I dodged it. Those books do fire off letters, which is kind of neat. Let's see what's up north. Another chest. I don't recall whether there was a key in the shop, so let's go back. There was. None of these guns seem particularly appealing to me, so I'm going to grab a key and roll the dice on the chest. A green chest I've traditionally gotten some decent loot out of. That is wonderful. That is a heart holster for wearing your heart on your sleeve. It adds a full heart container. It also heals you for a full heart. It's a very nice Zelda homage. There are several different species of heart container that can drop in this game. And many of them have clever descriptions to go along with them. Alright, Chamber 2. We've got 3.5 hearts and a piece of armor. A couple of blanks to help us get through. I think we're in a decent spot to get through the second floor. I could still very much throw this run, so let's see how this goes. I could just completely shoot at the table. It's perfectly fine. Or I could go around and actually shoot the bullet that's hiding behind it. And stand there and get shot. Alright. I believe that damage increase was actually fairly significant. Having the ability to one-hit that rubber bullet seemed pretty good. Let's see. These suns are mainly just a nuisance, but if you have a bunch of other characters in the room, it can be challenging. Alright, so this is an NPC we can unlock if we happen to find a cell key on the floor. If we're thorough enough and successful enough, we will find one, and we can come back and unlock that cell. See what it gives us. That worked. Let's dodge and sidestep. Alright. Another one. That's great. I love seeing 2 of those in a row. I was mildly sarcastic if you didn't pick it up. Just wanted to be clear. That was actually much easier than the first, in my opinion. Alright, this is that fire chamber again. I'll just roll onto the platform when it comes down again and roll off at the top. And that was absolutely unnecessary because, as you can see, we just made a circuit. I definitely should have checked the map. In the not too distant future, I will make a point of discussing things beyond the what's happening on screen. Talk about things like the direction of the channel, what my plans are going forward, etc. But for now, I'm still getting the hang of recording gameplay and commenting over it. I hope you'll bear with me as I develop as a YouTuber, and thank you very much for joining me this early on in my process. I can only ask for your continued patience. Let's see, I think we... Yeah. Starting pistol, perfectly acceptable. We're taking out those bats. Empty. That's less than ideal. Okay, I don't want to be there. I want to be over here. Alright. Next to this exploding barrel. Alright. I should see what I have. I'll hold control here, and then I'll switch to the sawed-off, because I really want to use... I've already forgotten what it's called. I will go to the Ammonomicon. I really want to use the Crestfaller for the boss, because I think it'll be my best damage option. And with the bosses, it really is about outputting as much damage as you can while you're dodging, so you have to ultimately do less dodging. I really don't mind burning through this ammo, because as fairly ineffective as it is now, it will be even less effective on later floors. So I might as well burn through it. I would love to pick up another gun or two before we have to fight the boss, and certainly before we descend to the next level. This could be very good for us. It's not a mimic. I often shoot chests just to make sure they're not going to try to eat me for breakfast. I believe there is also a breathing animation that can give them away. Ha 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 ha! The shotgun full of love. I love this gun. Deals damage and potentially charms enemies. The preferred weapon of Hespera. the Pride of Venus, a beloved Gungeoneer. I may use this for room clearing, partly because I like it so much. I believe those may be puppies, which makes me a little sad, but it does fire puppies and stars and hearts and all the things traditionally associated with love. Alright, sorry, that cracks me up. Some of the weapons in this game are just amazing. This does have fairly limited ammo, but I say it's pretty ammo efficient, because you can turn enemies against one another. We'll try this with the Crestfaller, and I will let you watch the animation. Shell Serpent, Ammoconda. Yeah, slowing him is helping significantly. Now, it doesn't slow the bullets themselves, but it does slow his rate of fire, giving you a little more time to dodge them. I'm going to have to use a blank here soon. Yep. It's really good not to get cornered. It's also pretty hard to do so sometimes. Let's see, we got to reload. The reload time on this particular gun seems fairly high, and I'm just rolling randomly, apparently. Well, a little bit of damage boost. Let's try to capitalize on that. We're not going to get the perfect here. That seems to be the order of the day since I started this new save file and the YouTube series. But that's alright. It will happen one day. Trust me. I have done it many times when playing while not commenting. Thank you for your patience with me. Just roll right into his mouth, why don't you? That's great. Let's try to actually beat him this time. Alright. I'll be satisfied with this run if I... There we go. If I can defeat the Ammoconda. He's what got us last time. That got us a cell key, so we get to unlock that NPC back there. And we also got Table Tech Blanks. I really like this item. And I'll go into the description so you can take a look. The ancient technique will trigger a blank when a table is flipped. Chapter 4 of the Tabla Sutra. A clear table leads to a clear mind. So whenever we flip a table, it'll fire off a blank that clears projectiles and knocks enemies back. I quite like that. We'll just teleport right back here to this cell. And even if we die in the very first room of the 3rd floor, we will have unlocked this NPC. Oh, finally! I knew it would be a while before someone came down here. But seriously? It's been forever! Anyway, we should get back to the shop. It's been closed for way too long. You should come by. We're on the top level of the breach. You can't miss it. I'm headed back to the breach. Thank you for rescuing Mistress Cadence and this one. I will escort her to the breach. Come on, Ox. Ugh, you're always so slow. Thank you again. Ugh, come on, Leadhead. You're not very nice, Cadence. Alright. Enough said. Ooh, looks like there's an extra room to explore over here on the side. Let's see, shotgun full of love. Nope. None of that. Don't want that. Okay, that was a bit scary. I really probably should have just gone on to the next one. We'll see how this plays out. They do only stay charmed for a certain period of time, and then they go back to moving on their own volition. I think the wise play here would be to go to the shopkeeper, see if we can't get it. Oh, half heart. I'll go ahead and buy a half heart because there isn't a lot else that I really want to buy here. The ammo would be nice actually for this pistol. That'll give us a little bit of a better fighting chance. And I'll use the pistol as a room clearer, the shotgun as a secondary. The shotgun full of love, that is. And then the Crestfaller for bosses. I'm being a little optimistic saying bosses at this point. But optimism is a good thing, I think. Alright, what's down in this next room? I am hoping to get a half heart drop or possibly a whole heart drop from one of these enemies. That would put us in a much better situation. Individual enemies don't have drops like that, but the room will at the end of it. On rare occasions. Less rare if you have the dog pet. Funny, I should mention that. Thank you for the half-heart game. I appreciate it. Alright. Not a mimic. Let's open it up. This is the crutch. You need it. Not very familiar with this one. Adds aim assist of a sort. That doesn't sound wonderful. Everybody needs a little help sometimes. With this crutch, every bullet fired will try really hard to hit a target, even if aimed incorrectly. So maybe it's homing? Okay, we'll assume that it's homing, but that sounded a little less like a good thing. Maybe it's a mild homing and acts up at a distance or something. I'll look into it. Let's go on down to the 3rd floor. Yes, I do plan on bringing the Stardew Valley content to the fore, at least to run concurrently with this series. But I've had some trouble recording it, not software-wise, but I'll get part way through the recording and just not be satisfied with the presentation. So bear with me, it's coming. It won't just be Enter the Gungeon. Ah. For some reason, oft times when I get in a dangerous situation, I'll just say yes in Russian. I don't mean it as yes in Russian. It's just da is my default trouble syllable. Why am I using the starter pistol? Cannot push the floaters into the drink, obviously. But that guy, you definitely can. Alright, so we'll go back to using the 1911. I don't like this room. To be fair, it doesn't like me either. This pillar has been very good at protecting me thus far. Okay, there we go. Gonna head south here. Oh, snipers. Okay. Let's take out this sniper first. Just so we can stay out of this guy's firing range as long as possible. We're going to need to reposition though. That I think... Oh, cool, that worked out. Knockback is a very nice feature of some guns. Was hoping to polish them off with that particular clip or magazine. Feel free to comment on the difference between a clip and a magazine. That seems to be a discussion of some interest in this particular game. I may or may not learn the difference by the end of this series, so try not to get too frustrated if I refer to it as the wrong thing. Trust me, there will be plenty of other things to get frustrated with me about in this playthrough. That was very inefficient. There we go. Oh, a half heart. That helps quite a bit. Shop. Hey, shop man, what you got for me? A pitchfork. Too much. Knife shield. Can't quite afford that. Also, it's an active item, so it would replace our Molotov. I'm going to have to use that so that you can see it in action. There we go. Ow. Okay, I have 3 more shots. There they go. Shotgun full of love. Alright. Ooh, these giant mushrooms, they are often quite meddlesome. That's cool. Go ahead and shoot at each other. Oh, I didn't even see the slime. Okay, there we go. Alright. They make like little squeaky toy sounds, actually. I hadn't heard that before. At least not registered it consciously. So don't worry, they're just squeaky toy dogs. They're not actual real dogs. Real virtual dogs, of course. I skipped the scene. This is Canon Balrog, and someday you will see the scene describing him. I'm sure you can find it on a lot of other channels too, so don't be too terribly worried about it. I did not see which direction that one had come from. Well, that's a good game. I have no problem getting to the 3rd floor boss and then dying. That went pretty well. I'm going to go back to the breach and go ahead and look through the Ammonomicon, see if there's anything that I missed during the descriptions, and we'll let you go. Decoy distracts enemies. Most inhabitants of the Gungeon are not the most intelligent of creatures, and will fire upon anything that they do not recognize. This crude facsimile of a Gungeoneer will hold their attention for a time. Many Gundead seem content to lock trespassers up in cells, despite their trigger-happy natures. Somewhere, deep in the Gungeon, there is probably a prison full of decoys. Let's see. Table tech blanks. Fires off around whenever you flip a table. I probably should have looked for more tables that particular run. That's alright. Did we defeat any new bosses? Yes, we did. We got Smiley. He's the good bullet. A little younger and more carefree than his brother, Smiley is in charge of training young bulletkin. Larger and more imposing than a common Gundead, the Trigger Twins guard the first chamber from novice Gungeoneers. Shades, cast in the same mold, Shades and Smiley have always stuck together. If one of the Trigger Twins falls in battle, the one left standing will redouble his efforts to end the life of the invading Gungeoneer. The Ammoconda is composed of segments, each capable of firing independently. Ravenously hungry, this snake of shells grows in length and power as it consumes. Now this boss, unfortunately, I ran into her on a run I was not able to show you. The recording didn't go as well as I had hoped. I will show it to you. We will run into her with some regularity, so no worries about that. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful day.